Everyone. So I am guessing that in your interactions with our lovely profession recruiters, you have thought this question, said it to your colleague, but had a sense of, oh my God, you are such an idiot. You know those recruiters that call and they say, hi, I've got a great opportunity for you. It's a once in a lifetime. They are idiots, in my book. But I'm going to tell you about a moment where not only they thought that about me, but they said it to my face, and how painful that was. Why are we not going anywhere? Oh, there we are. So let me premise a story about when I was told I was an idiot recruiter. We were asked, as part of our consulting business, to help a company make their business development team more effective. They had a team. They thought they were good, they had a service which they thought was great, and they weren't hitting the revenue that they thought they should have. So we were asked to analyze their current business activities, evaluate their current business developers and see if they were the right fit, and train them in order to make them more effective. And in that process, the owner of the company said, well, it became apparent that at least one of these people should be motivated to move to the next career opportunity. And he said, do you know anyone that could fit this job and this company? So I called a few of my friends, some of my network, and asked whether they were open for a new job. And one of them said, actually, I was speaking to a colleague of mine yesterday, and he is looking for a new opportunity. And I asked for his contact details, and I got his work email address. So this is where the problem started. I wrote him an email knowing that a work email, you read what is it called again, those t-shirts that the IT people wear? I read your email. So conscious of that, I didn't write, hey, buddy, I heard you're looking to leave your current company. I wrote, I am recruiting for a position. Would you be interested to engage in conversation? This was the response I received. Dear Kieran, has it ever occurred to you that by writing to somebody at their current work email address about a new job, possibly you are jeopardizing their current position, or did they not teach you that at idiot recruiter school? It gets worse. The words get stuffed. He was British. Do not even start to cover my reaction to your email. And if I ever hear from you again in any capacity, I will report to you your totally unprofessional, incompetent behavior to our own recruitment group to ensure that you never get work from company blank. And if that wasn't enough, yours in disgust. This is actually the reason why Sabina and I went to our very first conference, proud new business cards, flyers. We have set up our own company. We had 4 offers to work on recruitment jobs, and we said no to every single one of them. While last night in the Air and Space Museum, when one of our placed candidates in quite an interesting position introduced Sabina and I to a CEO of a company and said, these girls are recruiters. You can hesitate about the girls, but the recruiters was the part that made us go, we're actually founders of the company. Because there's something about this profession that is not a pleasant place to be put. And I know for a fact my email was not inappropriate, but how is it possible that it's okay to treat another person in a profession that way? And actually I did some research, and I was quite happy to read in a survey from LinkedIn that actually 73% of people are either somewhat interested or extremely interested to hear from a recruiter. So how is it possible that I'm treated this way? But let's look back into history. Where did recruitment actually come from? So actually, matchmakers were the people where y'all brought out the good china, and we were brought into the formal living room, and everyone wore their best clothes, because you could have been introduced by this person to your soulmate, to, in China, your best friend, because this was their art. This is what they did. What a matchmaker does is take one person and another person, and together thinks that they will be more than the sum of the parts. So we went from coming from a position of deity, Chinese God, and having musicals written about us, to being the lowest of the low. Or as Patrick, who introduced Sabina, would describe us, as even the great ones are the best of a bad bunch. And I tried to figure out, why was this? How is it possible that there are really a delegation of idiot recruiters out there? How did that happen? And recently, about 4 weeks ago, we started to build a junior recruitment team. We want to develop recruiters who recruit like we do. So I looked at a bit of job descriptions that are out there for for companies that are hiring new recruiters. And it almost made me nauseous. All of the incentives to become a recruiter were financial. So you work 12 hours a day and you'll never see your family. It literally says that in a lot of these job descriptions. But you will get a big cash bonus. You will eat in Michelin star restaurants, and we will send you to Ibiza as Recruiter of the Year. All financial incentives. And it has nothing to do with the kick of making a good match, with the email that you get or the phone call that you get of a candidate saying, "You have changed my life." And I love money. I can be honest about that. I want to be a fat cat millionaire at some point in my life. I think that most of you do, but not above what I do, not above the work that I deliver today. So what happens to an industry and a profession when it gets focused solely on money, when most of the people coming into the industry are pushed that way? They treat you with pressure. They treat you in an uncomfortable situation because they want to hit their targets and they want to hit their goal because they want to make their money. This lack of control, I know how this man felt. I was the gunner next to the pilot in the flight simulator yesterday. This was me with my skirt flying because we flew the entire flight simulation in the Air and Space Museum upside down, while she screamed at me, "Shoot it, shoot it!" But in a situation where you're letting the recruiter get behind the wheel and tell you, "Send your CV, you need to go for this, it's a great opportunity," you're not in control. I just want to do a short market survey for our own company. It's not pleasant to not be happy with the manner in which you are approached. Who here thinks it's okay, within the terms of it being a good way to approach you, that recruiters contact you on a work email address? Is that okay? Okay. Duly noted. So in a relationship where you are put under pressure, where there's a lack of control, where you're offended, this is your response to most of those jobs. So I challenge you to slip in the driver's seat, put your foot on the gas or the brake, and grab the steering wheel. And to do that, you need to manage those recruiters out there. Tell them what you're looking for. Put it on your social media profile. When your boss asks why you're all of a sudden out there, tell them you went to a power-up presentation and blame me. That you're tired of spending time on recruiters that are approaching you for jobs that you would never, ever spend your time on. Put it out there. Tell us what you want. If you're irritated by getting emails, tell them where you want them to contact you. Set up an email address for that specifically. And my other challenge and lesson is, stop working with recruiters that hire their people in this way. They will give you a good price because they've built a money machine, not because they're in the art of recruitment. So I challenge you and I ask you to join me on the Idiot Recruiter Revolution. Take control, and thank you for your attention.